Welcome back to Half Moon Vibes, your sanctuary for peace, positivity, and all the good vibes. I'm Masi, the creator behind this channel, where we blend inspirational advice and soothing moments to bring tranquility to your day. Let Half Moon Vibes be your guide to a peaceful mind and heart, your perfect oasis of relaxation. This episode showcases the emotional and academic challenges when scientific results are suppressed and manipulated. Let's explore how to keep pushing forward, even when the odds feel stacked against you. Josh lived for the lab. Days blurred into nights as he meticulously tended to his experiments. He was a graduate student, but his dedication ran deeper than any degree. He was driven by an insatiable curiosity, a thirst to understand the intricate mechanisms of cancer development. His current research focused on a rare protein, one with the potential to revolutionize cancer treatment. For months, Josh had been running trials, his mind abuzz with possibilities. He pored over research papers, his desk piled high with journals and scribbled notes. Sleep was a luxury he could barely afford, his dreams filled with complex equations and microscopic images. He knew the potential of his research. He could feel it in his bones. It was late one evening, the lab eerily quiet. Josh was analyzing data, his eyes glued to the screen. Suddenly, a pattern emerged. A spike in the graph he hadn't noticed before. He noticed something odd. He reran the analysis, his hands trembling with anticipation. The results were undeniable. The protein that was produced by Dr. Evans's lab simply didn't work. The data was clear. The protein wasn't as universally effective as Dr. Evans liked to claim. The next morning, Josh burst into Dr. Evans's office to report the results. Dr. Evans, his supervisor, was a renowned scientist, a towering figure in the field. He laid out his findings. Dr. Evans, however, remained unimpressed. He listened patiently, his expression unreadable. When Josh finished, a long silence hung in the air. Finally, Dr. Evans spoke, his voice cold and measured.
This data is inconvenient, Josh. It contradicts years of my research that is currently under review for publication. We need to present a clean narrative for publication. Josh, we don't need to include that in the report. It complicates the data unnecessarily. Let's focus on the successes. If we present this, it will undermine all the work we've done so far.
He dismissed Josh's results as an anomaly, a statistical error. The following days were a blur of confusion and doubt for Josh. He trusted Dr. Evans, respected his opinion, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. He retreated to the lab, poring over his data again and again. The evidence was clear, irrefutable. He was torn. He could do as Dr. Evans suggested, bury his findings, protect his career, or he could fight for his truth, risk everything for the sake of scientific integrity. He wrestled with his conscience, the ethical dilemma keeping him up at night. He knew he couldn't stay silent, not with so much at stake. As days turned into weeks, Josh couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He overheard whispers in the hallways, hushed conversations about other researchers facing similar situations. Data suppressed, findings manipulated, all to fit a predetermined narrative. The realization hit him hard. This wasn't an isolated incident, it was a systemic issue, a culture of silence within academia. The pressure to publish, to secure funding, to maintain reputations, it all contributed to a toxic environment where truth was often sacrificed for personal gain. He learned of researchers who had their careers ruined for speaking out, for challenging the status quo. Fear was a powerful motivator, silencing dissent and stifling innovation. Driven by a sense of duty and an unwavering commitment to his work, and a deep-seated belief in the sanctity of science, Josh made a decision. He would document everything, every observation, every anomaly, meticulously recording his findings, ensuring no detail was overlooked, ensuring the accuracy and validity of his results. He owed it to himself, to his research, and to the scientific community, and to the people who might rely on his work to ensure the truth was known, to fight for the truth, no matter the cost. He was prepared to face the consequences, to challenge the status quo, to stand up for what he believed in, for the integrity of science, even if it meant standing alone against all odds. Weeks later, during a routine lab meeting, Josh saw his opportunity. Dr. Evans was presenting their team's progress on the protein research, focusing on the very findings he had dismissed. As Dr. Evans spoke, Josh carefully laid out his own data, charts and graphs neatly organized on the table. When Dr. Evans concluded his presentation, Josh calmly raised his hand. "Dr. Evans," he began, his voice steady, "I'd like to present some additional findings." He proceeded to walk the group through his data, explaining the significance, presenting the contrary evidence. The room fell silent, the weight of his findings hanging heavy in the air. The presentation was met with a mix of curiosity and concern. Fellow researchers peppered Josh with questions, some skeptical, others intrigued. Dr. Evans, however, sat stone-faced, his jaw clenched. As the meeting concluded, Dr. Evans called Josh into his office. The air was thick with tension.
What do you think you're doing, Josh? This data, it undermines years of my work, jeopardizes our funding. Everyone else does it this way. We're just following the norm in our cluster.
Josh stood his ground.
With all due respect, Dr. Evans, this is about more than your research or funding. This is about scientific integrity, about presenting the truth, however inconvenient it may be.
The confrontation was heated, a clash between ego and ethics, a battle of wills that echoed through the sterile lab. Dr. Evans argued for caution, for protecting their work, their reputations, and the years of effort they had invested. Josh, however, refused to back down. His resolve was solid as the data he had collected. He reminded Dr. Evans of their duty as scientists, their obligation to the pursuit of knowledge, to the betterment of humanity, and the ethical standards they had sworn to uphold. He argued that suppressing his findings wouldn't just be unethical, it would be a disservice to the scientific community and to the countless lives that could be saved by their research. In the end, Dr. Evans, faced with the undeniable truth presented by Josh, reluctantly agreed to review the data further, acknowledging the importance of transparency. The victory, though small, was significant, a testament to the power of integrity and perseverance. Josh had stood up for what he believed in, risked his career for the sake of scientific integrity and for the truth that could not be ignored. His commitment to truth, his unwavering moral compass, had set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately change the course of their research and perhaps the world. Josh's story is not an isolated one. It is a narrative that resonates with many in the scientific community. It serves as a stark reminder of the ethical challenges that permeate academia, challenges that are often hidden beneath the surface. The pressures that can push even the most well-intentioned individuals to compromise their principles are immense and ever-present. But it is also a testament to the courage of those who choose to speak truth to power, who stand firm in their convictions. These individuals refuse to let personal gain overshadow the pursuit of knowledge and the betterment of humanity, even when it is difficult. Josh's journey underscores the importance of mentorship, of having guides who can navigate the complex landscape of research ethics. It highlights the necessity of fostering an environment where young scientists feel empowered to question, to challenge, to speak their truth without fear of reprisal, knowing they have the support of their mentors and peers. It highlights the need for transparency and accountability within scientific institutions for a culture that values integrity. There must be mechanisms that protect whistleblowers and ensure that research is conducted with integrity and rigor without shortcuts. In the end, Josh's story is a beacon of hope, a shining example of what can be achieved through perseverance. It serves as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, resilience and dedication can prevail. One person's commitment to truth can make a difference, can spark a movement, can change the world, inspiring others to follow suit. This episode of Half Moon Vibes was brought to you by Marcy, a graduate of the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre and the University of Melbourne. We'd love to hear from you. Share your own experiences and challenges in the comments below, and let's support each other in this journey. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, share it with someone who could use a little motivation, and don't forget to subscribe. By subscribing to Half Moon Vibes, you're joining a community of dreamers, doers, and believers. Stay tuned for more stories that will fuel your spirit and remind you to chase your dreams one step at a time. Let's grow together. Your next moment of inspiration is just a click away.